Hi, everyone. Welcome to Leisrealtalk. How's everyone? Good? How's your week? Okay. Oh, I see people here. We have Jenna Ma. Are you the Jenna Ma that I know? I do know a Jenna Ma. All right, Moonwalker, Texas Panda, Iron Slippers, Nick Fury, Furry. All right, James, California. All right. Okay. Excellent. How do I sound? Okay, my audio. People like my microphone. Yes. Sounds. Do I sound okay? Okay. All right. We have JJJ, Peter, King James. Wow. Authentic Austin, Wrong, Michael Estrada, Nasty Badger. Okay, excellent. All right. Well, we're going to talk about Xi Jinping's exit plan or CCP's transition plan. I have a lot of information that I can't wait to share with you. Okay, let's get started. So I've been saying for a while that Xi Jinping has lost power and that Beijing is undergoing a major political transition. But naturally, the big questions are, what's next? How will this play out? Who is taking over? And when will the CCP officially announce Xi Jinping's downfall? I don't know what noises that is, but hold on, let me turn this thing off. It's very distracting. Sorry. So these are the questions that naturally, came up. According to well-placed sources, Xi Jinping has already reached a consensus or agreement with the party elders. He's agreed to step down from all three of his top positions: General Secretary of the party, Chairman of the Central Military Commission, and President of China. Even more significant, we now have details on how the new leadership lineup and the timeline for the handover of power. According to the same sources, the current 7-member Politburo Standing Committee will be dissolved. In its place, a new 7-person standing committee will form with a core trio taking the reins. So this isn't just rumor or hearsay. The list was reportedly compiled and cross-verified by 3 different insiders, given its serious weight. So let's take a look at what's likely to happen in the next couple of months, if not years. So tonight we'll cover who will take over China's top leadership roles, the new Politburo Standing Committee lineup. We'll talk about the timeline of the transition. And then we'll spend some time discussing who's really in charge. Is it Wang Yang or Zhang Youxia? And then I'll share with you some Russian intelligence leak on Xi Jinping's health and CCP's power transition. And then last but not least, we'll discuss, will this political drama drag on or end swiftly? Because time is of essence. All right, so let's talk about the new trio at the top. At the center of the new leadership will be 3 men. Do I have a picture of them? Yes, I do. Here they are. Where are they? Where did they go? I don't see them. Okay, so here we go. Oh, there we go. That's a better picture. So you see their names. So here they are, and I've discussed them many times. Wang Yang, he's set to come out of retirement and take over as the party secretary. He's known as a seasoned and steady figure, and he represents stability. And he will be the face of a smooth political transition. It's interesting that people commented that Wang Yang is actually he's not a soft leader. He's very forceful in pushing out new policies, but as a compliment, he doesn't have many enemies. It's interesting how he's not a softie, but he doesn't have many enemies. So that's his strength, that he's able to create consensus among people, even though he's very clear-headed in the direction that he's going. So that's one. And then Hu Chunhua, his promotion to premier was infamously blocked by Xi Jinping at the 20th Party Congress, triggering the dramatic moment when Hu Jintao was escorted out of the meeting. Now Hu is expected to finally take over as premier, replacing Li Qiang. Many see him as the political heir to former Premier Li Keqiang, both in policy style and approach. And we have Zhang Youxia, the man who started it all. Currently serving as vice chairman of CMC, he has never been part of the standing committee of Politburo before, but he's now expected to join it while carrying a gun, symbolizing the military's decisive role in this power shift. Yeah, you will have someone carrying the gun in the 7-member Politburo Standing Committee. So who will fill the remaining seats, right? Because there are only 3. I mean, the entire standing committee is a 7-person member. So who are the other 4 people? Well, actually, they will come from the remaining 4 seats on the new standing committee will reportedly be determined through an internal voting process, especially it's a selection process. I think there will be 7 people. There are 7 candidates competing for 4 positions. And the 7 candidates are Ding Xuexiang, currently one of the standing committee member. He's actually the only standing committee member, the only member from the current Politburo Standing Committee who has a chance to enter the next one. And his actual position is he's the executive vice premier of the State Council. Ying Li, who is currently the party secretary of Beijing. Li Shulei, head of publicity department. And then we have the next 4. Zhang Guoqing, the vice premier of the State Council, and another vice premier. They have 4 or 5 vice premiers. And then Chen Jining, the party secretary of Shanghai, who I've talked about before. He was widely believed to be, at one point it was believed to be the successor to Xi Jinping. And then Yuan Jiajun, party secretary of Chongqing, and then Zhang Qingwei, vice chairman of the National People's Congress. He is the only one of the 7 who is not a Politburo member, but he is one of the Central Committee member. So these 7 people are said to be competing. 4 of them will be selected to join the 7-person Politburo Standing Committee. Now, if you look closely, several of these candidates, like Ding Xuexiang and Ying Li, let me go back. They are Xi Jinping's close allies. They were promoted. I mean, they were promoted by Xi Jinping, but now they're being repositioned as tools for internal cleanup. Essentially, they're shifting from loyal aides to system-approved liquidators of the Xi Jinping era. Meanwhile, technocrats like Zhang Guoqing, Li Shulei, and Zhang Qingwei, right? So the other ones are called technocrats. They are perceived as pragmatic administrators with cross-fractional appeal. They are generally accepted by all factions, and they're ideal for ensuring a stable and productive transition. Okay, so that's the next leadership team. So what's happening behind the scenes now? Well, for now, a provisional leadership team is quietly steering the ship. And Wang Yang and Hu Chunhua are already, not them yet. Let me just go back. Wang Yang and Hu Chunhua are already stepping into their roles behind the scenes, even though Xi Jinping and Li Qiang are still officially listed as party secretary, general, and premier. Internally, the consensus on leadership change has already been reached. The next challenge is deciding how and when to make it public. And that moment is coming soon. According to insiders, an expanded Politburo meeting is scheduled for mid-June to finalize the plan. Xi Jinping will resign at the meeting due to health reasons, and he will be replaced by a new leadership. This meeting will serve as a face-saving formal step to inform the broader party structure of the decision. While top-level officials have already known that Xi Jinping is no longer in charge, but this meeting will legitimize this collective decision of the leadership change and make it official. And during the same time, the party is expected to announce the date of the upcoming fourth plenary session. It's a key step because all leadership transitions in the CCP must be ratified by the party's central committee before becoming public information. And the most critical piece of this entire transition is this: Xi Jinping must appear to step down voluntarily. He will be allowed to exit the stage gracefully, and efforts will be made to reassure his loyalists across the government that their positions aren't immediately at risk. They just want to make sure his loyalists will be reassured for some stability for now. After the official announcement, the military will hold internal meetings to publicly reaffirm their loyalty to the new leadership. Reports and briefings will be circulated across the ranks, sending a clear message to the PLA that the party is still in charge, only the face at the top has changed. Well, that's the plan. Now, the new leadership is already preparing for the media firestorm that Xi Jinping's resignation will cause, both at home and abroad. According to the leak, state media will roll out a full-blown PR campaign. The message is that this is a peaceful transfer of power, and it's done for the long-term stability of the party and the country. After the announcement, Xi Jinping will likely make one or two carefully staged public appearances to maintain the illusion of a dignified exit. But behind the scenes, his movements will be closely monitored to prevent any attempts at a comeback. And the transition will follow a tightly scripted sequence. This is very detailed, but they tell it all. Day one, Xi Jinping formally resigns and the announcement is made public. And day two, Wang Yang is introduced as the new general secretary. And then state media will go into overdrive promoting the new leadership. And then for the next couple of days, the party central committee will hold a plenary session to approve the new Politburo, the standing committee, and the top-level appointments, just to finish the business. Once that's done, the new leadership will launch a series of internal briefing across all major party and government departments. And Wang will also convene a high-level military forum, followed by a discipline inspection meeting, targeting Xi Jinping's remaining loyalists, especially those in sensitive positions. And then on the international front, China's foreign ministry will begin diplomatic outreach to various countries, explaining the leadership shift and signaling continuity in foreign policy. So as far as when the announcement will be made, there is no given date yet, but it can be as early as the second half of June. But all of this needs to be wrapped up before September the 3rd. That's the date of China's annual military parade commemorating the end of World War II. The invitations have already been sent out, right? I think, didn't Vladimir, I call him Vladir, he's Vladimir Putin. Didn't he receive the invitation from Xi Jinping when the two best friends met in Moscow last month, right? So yeah, so the date is already set and some invitations have already been sent. But the word is that Xi Jinping will not preside over the parade this year. That role will go to Wang Yang. And this event will be critical in showing both the domestic audience and the world that the new leader has the full backing of the party, of the PLA, and the state apparatus. So that date is fixed. So you think everything would have to happen before September the 3rd, right? Sorry, let me come back. For Wang Yang to be able to preside over the parade. Now, what about Xi Jinping's inner circle? Sources say Xi and his family have already received verbal guarantees of their personal safety. As for his inner circle, the so-called Xi Jinping faction, the plan is to neutralize them gently. Some will be reassigned to symbolic roles. Others will be pushed aside quietly. Hardcore loyalists like these two. Do I have a picture of them? Yeah. So these two will not be immediately purged, as that could provoke backslash or even resistance. However, they will be placed under strict surveillance to prevent them from organizing or pushing back. Their media visibility and political influence will be gradually reduced. So it will be a silent fade out rather than a dramatic takedown. So it's a crucial 2.5 months from now until September the 3rd. And here's the big picture. It's expected, this is one analyst said that he thinks this announcement will come out, and the publicity, all the publicity, the outreach to international communities, all of that will be done before the CCP leaders go to their summer retreat in Beidaihe, because they have a tradition of meeting in Beidaihe to discuss politics, in a casual setting. So the word is that they want to focus on new leadership team and new direction at Beidaihe when they meet, and not wasting their time negotiating with the Xi faction. Because if they don't finish this before the summer retreat, they may be dragged into negotiating with the Xi Jinping faction during their summer retreat. So that's the CCP plan. But I see one potential problem. That is, who really leads China now? Is it Wang Yang or Zhang Youxia? Right? That's my question. Because as I mentioned before, when party elders approached Wang Yang about taking over after Xi Jinping, he made 3 demands. The most important one, he insisted on leading the military. And one knows the reality of power inside the CCP. If you don't control the gun, you don't truly hold control. But now we're seeing a different picture. It's in the latest leadership lineup, it won't be Wang Yang leading the military. It looks like Zhang Youxia is expected to step up as the new chairman of the CMC. So sources say that Zhang has made it clear he has the full support of the retired generals and the current military leadership, the ones without the Xi Jinping loyalists. So he wants to lead the PLA, and Hu Jintao and Wen Jiabao have reportedly agreed to let him do that for a while, maybe for a number of years. Now, that brings us a critical question. Who will be considered the true top leader of China? Is it Wang Yang or Zhang Youxia? Because in the CCP's own history, the person who controls the military holds the ultimate power. It always has been that way. Take Deng Xiaoping as an example. He never held the title of party secretary or president of China. His only formal title was the chairman of the CMC. But that was enough. It was enough. He deposed 2 party secretaries that he himself had installed because he had the gun. So the real question is, does this make Zhang Youxia the de facto top leader of China and not Wang Yang? It's entirely possible that Zhang is following Deng Xiaoping's path, ruling from behind the scenes by controlling the PLA. But here's the difference. Deng Xiaoping had extensive experience managing the country's economy. I mean, he served in the state council and had his hands deep in policies and reforms. But Zhang Youxia is a general. He's a pure military man without civilian experience and no economic background at all. So the big unknown is, how will Zhang Youxia share power with Wang Yang? Could this turn into a power struggle or a new model of leadership? I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it might mark the beginning of a new political balance, one where the PLA transforms from being a party-controlled force to a national defense institution serving the country and not just the party. If that happens, the relationship between Zhang Youxia and Wang Yang could become not just manageable, but even productive. In fact, I think that's the only way they can coexist peacefully. That's, when the PLA becomes a national defense force, not a party, not the party's political tool. Okay, so that's what I have for you. Now here comes the big question. Can we trust these reports, right? I mean, they're not, even though people say they're being cross-verified 3 times, but they're still not officially confirmed. And you might be wondering if any of this, how do I say this? Okay. Here's my answer. Okay, let me put it this way. I think it's credible because China's new leadership wants this information to be leaked for 3 purposes. 1, to solicit feedback and comments ahead of time and make necessary adjustments accordingly. They have done this before. Xi Jinping is known for leaking rumors of potential personnel change just to see how people respond. So that's one. And the second is to prepare internal and external audiences for the upcoming transition. And the 3 is sort of similar to number 2. Because of the lack of transparency and secretive nature, CCP leaders have no alternative ways of alerting the public other than leaking this to some unofficial channels, right? Now, so that's my first argument. And my second argument is, interestingly, the Russians are actively discussing the CCP's power transition in public. And they're saying that Xi Jinping won't preside over the September military parade. And then one Telegram channel called General SVR. I think some of you may be familiar with this. This is their logo. This channel claimed that Xi Jinping suffered multiple cardiac episodes over the last 2 weeks. Now, this account is well known in the West for publishing leaks about Kremlin's inner workings and Putin's health crisis. And this account or this channel is claimed to be run by current and former officers of Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service, which is SVR. Of course, along with insiders from other state bodies. So according to one of their posts, a secret intelligence briefing was delivered to the Kremlin on June 9th, stating that Xi Jinping, actually it's in Russian, I don't know. Here we go. It said that Xi had a heart attack during the night of May 25th and 26th, followed by 2 more episodes in early June. And doctors reportedly warned that if he continues intense public appearances, he could collapse on the spot. The channel also claims that the CCP leadership has reached consensus to remove Xi. Let me see. But Xi's faction is still resisting. And today, this channel, I just heard that this channel today another thing, issued another post saying that they said that they're anticipating, or Moscow is anticipating, Beijing's new leadership being more pro-West. And they are anticipating that China-Russia relations will change, or will make a turn. So that's today from the same Telegram channel, from this general SVR. And Russian news outlet UDF. Where's this one? I was trying to can I make it this bigger? I was trying to find this post because someone did a screenshot of this, but this post I think is removed because I cannot find it anymore. This was in Chinese, but it doesn't exist in Russian or in English or in Chinese. I don't know if they removed this post because someone commented on it. But this outlet published a piece on June 9th by journalist Yuri Ganidin. And the piece is titled in Chinese, Lukashenko bidding farewell to his friend Xi Jinping. The article describes Xi Jinping's political future as unstable and categorized Lukashenko's recent visit to Beijing as more of a goodbye than a diplomatic mission. So yes, the Russians are watching China's power transition very closely and are now openly discussing it on their social media and in the press. So here's what I think. This isn't just outside speculation. It's partially coordinated. I think the CCP may have deliberately allowed the rumors of Xi Jinping's health crisis to spread to Russia, or even the power transition, to pave the way for Xi Jinping to announce his resignation that's coming. So yes, Xi Jinping is reportedly facing serious health issues, but whether or not he had a heart attack on those exact dates doesn't really matter. The point is, health is being used as the pretext for his political exit, and this saves both Xi Jinping and the party's face. What's even more shocking is that Xi Jinping has submitted a personal will to the Politburo, and the document reportedly centers on two key points. The first is a plea to the party to treat his family with kindness and avoid political retaliation. And the second is a patriotic message, which says that even if the Xi family is destroyed, we will always love our country. So it seems that Xi Jinping is haunted by what happened to Mao Zedong's family after his death, and he fears a similar fate. As one analyst put it bluntly, the CCP system is on autopilot right now. Once Xi Jinping is out, no one will care about personal loyalty or past favors. But the question remains, will this transition plan hold together? Or are we headed for a deeper power struggle between the forces? And so here's the question. If this is a full-blown political war with mysterious death, quiet purges, and both sides bleeding political capital, why don't Xi Jinping's opponents just make it official, like tomorrow? Why not just say that he's sick, and he is sick, and just name the successor, right? I mean, why do they make it so complex, unnecessarily complex and convoluted? That's a fair question, and it's one I hear often from people outside China who are trying to make sense of the rumors and coded signals. The answer is simple. This is the CCP. This is exactly how it operates. And the CCP has always thrived on ambiguity, backroom deals, and image control because face saving is everything. Additionally, the CCP party elders also fear a chaotic transition. They cannot afford to have one. They reportedly held a special meeting and officially designated Xi Jinping as a transitional leader. Their plan is for him to step down gradually and hand over power without chaos. Their goal, a smooth, controlled transfer to avoid any political earthquake and maintain regime stability because they understand how fragile the regime is right now. So people say Xi Jinping's current situation closely resembles that of Hua Guofeng, the man Mao Zedong once handpicked as his successor. But the moment Hua truly lost power wasn't when he formally stepped down. Actually, it took him 3 years? Yeah, almost 3 years, 2.5 years to gradually lose real power to Deng Xiaoping. So now let's talk about a historical anecdote. So it began in December 1978 when Deng Xiaoping's reformist agenda replaced Hua Guofeng's Maoist hardline position at the third plenum of the 11th Party Congress. From that moment on, Hua Guofeng started to lose his authority, but he retained his titles. He didn't officially resign as premier until nearly 2 years later, on September 10th, 1980. And he didn't step down as party chairman and CMC chairman until June 28th, 1981. But in truth, he had already lost power 2.5 years earlier. Right? So if you compare that to Xi Jinping, Xi has spent over a decade, 12 to 13 years, consolidating power, creating a vast and deeply entrenched personal network. By comparison, party elders like Hu Jintao and Wen Jiabao and others don't command the same authority Deng Xiaoping once did. So the fact that these elders have managed to bring things this close to an official leadership transition in less than a year is nothing short of remarkable and usually fast by CCP standards. And that urgency tells us something. This isn't just a political realignment, it's a crisis that didn't even exist during Hua Guofeng and Deng Xiaoping's time. The clock is ticking. Externally, China is facing renewed pressure from Trump's trade war and increasing global isolation. Internally, the economy is unraveling. Unemployment is soaring. The housing market is imploding. The banking system is falling apart. Social unrest is simmering just beneath the surface. And the leadership knows they're running out of time. That's why we're seeing signs of a rushed and a carefully managed transition or exit, depending on how you look at it. It's not just about saving face. It's also about preventing a total meltdown. So what will happen next? Subscribe to Lei's channel. Okay, sorry. I don't know. It depends on how the party handles the coming weeks and months. But one thing is clear: the Xi Jinping era is ending. But whether that future is led by Wang Yang or Zhang Youxia or someone else, we don't know because nothing is final yet. Right? This is just a preliminary plan. I mean, this is the plan that we've heard. In fact, this is the only plan we've heard so far. There isn't like a second plan that has been leaked out. But not until the final announcement, anything could change. So we don't know. So whether it's going to be Wang Yang or Zhang Youxia or someone else, it really doesn't matter because the old system or the old order is being dismantled as we speak. So that's Xi Jinping's exit plan and the CCP's transition plan in a nutshell. Okay, I have an announcement to make. A new video in my Looking Glass channel has been just released. It's about 4 prophetic warnings from different parts of the world, all pointing at July 2025 as the month of tremors. It's a follow-up video to the one that I made about the Thai lady, More Pra, about her prediction about July. So after I released the Thai lady video, some of you sent me emails with more information about other predictions for July. So I felt compelled to make a follow-up video. So that one just released tonight, an hour ago. So Chris, if you can copy the link here, I'd appreciate it. Oh, here it is. Chris already did that. Okay, thank you. Let me see what people have for me. Comments. Oh, I think people are very quiet today. No comments? No questions? Manny, Kyla, thank you. What kind of relation does CCP have with Iran? Actually, that's a very good point. The general SVR post today, the Russian intelligence channel actually said that Russia believes that China's relations with Russia and with Iran will change because of this leadership change. It's actually in response to the situation in Middle East right now, right? Over people are concerned with the military operation against Iran by Israel. So that post addresses that concern, and it talks about how the leadership change in Beijing could potentially change the relations, change the Sino-Russia relations and the Sino-Iran relations. So the geopolitical landscape could change dramatically if this leadership swap or transition takes place as fast as it has planned. So yeah. So to answer your question, I think CCP, the new leadership will be more pro-West. During Hu Jintao's time, if you look at CCP's policies or foreign relations policies in the past decades, China's relations with Russia was lukewarm under Hu Jintao. It was Xi Jinping who made the relationship intimate, shall we say. Okay, but thank you for the super sticker. Meaning what? Okay. Well, I love the name, meaning what? Well, thank you. All right, I want to thank everyone who gave me super sticker. Okay, that's all. Am I reaching the bottom? Here's a question forwarded by Chris from Kevin. Job. Is there any way CCP could be a good or healthy government that's weeks in the best interests for its people, or is it always doomed to be evil or negative for its citizens? I think the Chinese people did give CCP chances to reinvent itself or to redeem itself decades ago. I mean, I think even by the time Xi Jinping came 12 years ago, China was at a crossroad. If Xi Jinping embraced political reforms and made China more free, more liberal, for lack of a better term, I mean, the Chinese people is okay with the regime. But take a look at what happened in the past 12 years. I mean, it's getting worse. So I think I think the Chinese people have had enough. They're just not giving the regime, any chance. The regime does not have any time left to reinvent itself, to correct itself. Um, yeah. So that's my answer. Chasing the light. Will Xi Jinping now be considered treated like a party elder, like Hu Jintao, or will he be completely silenced? I think from now to the 21st party, Congress, which will take place in 2027, I don't think he has any personal freedom. Maybe in 10 years, if he behaves himself and stays out of trouble, maybe he will be respected as a true retired cadre, party elder. But if he's trying to stage a comeback or something, then no, he will be watched closely for the next couple of years. So not right now. Someone asked me, when is the podcast you were interviewed for? I don't know. They told me 2 weeks. They haven't released it. So maybe it's Monday, because I know they release their videos on Mondays. So I don't know. I don't know what. For 3 hours. It will be interesting. Okay, Sylvia, you've done a terrific job analyzing the Xi Jinping power transfer. I was shocked when she cemented his presidency for life agenda, but it seems stranded of living. Education were great. Okay, well, thank you. All right, Manny Kaila, what is CCP's role behind LA riots? Well, I was asked if I can talk about that, but on there, people are talking about there's a billionaire. What's his name? Neville? What's his name? Singham? How do you say his last name? He is a diehard CCP fan. He lives in Shanghai. There were photos of him holding party sessions in Shanghai. So he has a very close connection with Shanghai, right? But there are people already talk about that. So that's when things are already known in the West, then I don't go into the details. But there are also, oh, by the way, Professor Yuan Hongbin made a point today. He said he believes, according to his sources, that this is part of the rehearsal or tests or stress test that the CCP pulls in preparation for a war in the Taiwan Strait. Because this certainly, I mean, if you look at the scale of the protests, if they break out across the US and Trump has to deploy military personnel to put that down, that's a distraction, right? And simultaneously, if a war breaks out in the Taiwan Strait, then the United States is, I mean, we'll be shorthanded. We have troubles everywhere and also internally, domestically. So Professor Yuan said that this was part of CCP's plan, original plan. And they may be testing that right now to see how effective that will be. So that's Professor Yuan's opinion. Okay. Okay, Mike Stewart, former president of China, 2025. All right, what is that? What is that sign? I can't tell. Okay. All right. Oh, Marcus Wilson. What about the agreement between Xi Jinping and Trump about trade tariffs? There wasn't much. I mean, it was a framework agreement. There weren't specific terms. But just to summarize, basically, it was China will impose 10% tariff on American imports. The United States will impose 55% on Chinese imports. And then China agreed to loosen control on rare earth exports in exchange for Trump's, loosening up on student visa. I think that was a Trump card that Trump used, because think of, I mean, these right now, with the way that China's economy is faltering, the students who are still able to come to study in the US are children of government officials or someone who's doing business with the government, because only they are able to afford a 4-year college tuition at schools like Harvard or Princeton or Columbia. So yeah, so by denying them student visa, CCP officials are not going to be very happy. So that was a good play. And then, I mean, the United States really doesn't lose anything. I mean, because you can't really prevent these Chinese students from coming anyway, right? I mean, we could be more selective in reviewing their profile. I mean, for those students studying the sensitive industries, we're not going to give them student visa, but we cannot have a policy that just bans all Chinese students. So this is, we don't lose anything. Yeah. Okay. All right. William Thompson, why don't we hear more about the real estate collapse? And is it worse than what the CCP is saying? Why you're not hearing it? It's because there's so many other pieces of China's economy that are breaking. I just saw a video today. I almost shared on social media, on X. In one day, 120 banks went out. They just closed. 120 banks closed on a single day. Could you imagine that? And I've seen videos of people begging in the lobby of banks, asking the bank staff to allow them to get money from the banks. I mean, could you imagine that? And it's not one or two people. They're like dozens of people begging the bank staff to give them some money. And so I think when you can't even get money, when you can't even access your money in the bank, that's a bigger issue. That's a bigger misery. That's a worse misery than the price of your real estate falling. So that's why you're not hearing about real estate collapse anymore, because the worst nightmare out there. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to see. Oh, here's a question forwarded by Chris from Mint Creative Gifts and Ideas. Some say CCP will seriously end with Wang Yang, born in the year of a goat, because he can be a weak leader. What are your thoughts? Yeah, they're just various prophecies have predicted that the CCP will end by someone born in the year of a goat. And Wang Yang was born in the year of goat. And CCP leaders before Xi Jinping had feared. I think I think Li Keqiang was also born in the year of a goat. And what's his name? Zhao Ziyang was also born in the year of goat. So Jiang Zemin feared Zhao Ziyang so much, right? After Deng Xiaoping removed Zhao Ziyang from the party top leadership position and installed what's his name? Jiang Zemin. Jiang Zemin feared Zhao Ziyang because he was born in the year of goat. And so Zhao was put under house arrest for the rest of his life. Now Li Keqiang is also a goat. So is Wang Yang. So if it's fate, you cannot get away from it. It will happen. If it's your destiny. All right. Mike Stewart. Olay. That was Xi's heart monitor. Okay. All right. That's smart. Well, thank you. Okay. Have I thanked everyone who gave me super stickers? Yes, I did. Okay. Here's a question forwarded by Chris from Seek the Truth. Will any of this have any impact on Bo Xilai? And any insights from Wang Huning? He is very dangerous. He is very dangerous. Oh my goodness. I mean, there were leaked speeches from all these top leaders, and I heard, I mean, we're not sure if they're fairly because there was speech from every one of them leaked. Some people do not believe they're 100% accurate, but I say they cannot be 100% fake. There's some truth to them. So I listened to most of them, and the one from Wang Huning, I mean, they're all perfectly written. I mean, that's what I say they can be fake, because how can they write a speech that's so like the person? And the one that Wang Huning basically defended Xi Jinping. But he also offered some tips to the new leadership. And he's just very cunning. Yeah, he's very dangerous. But he will be, no, they're not going to use him. I think his days, he's done. He's over. Bo Xilai is over, because he and his wife, I mean, have killed people. They have killed a British businessman. So they got blood on their hands. I mean, how can they come out? Right? I mean, and these are not rumors. They are testimonies during legal proceedings. So it is true. I mean, there are well-documented crimes that they committed. So no, they're not coming out. It will be utter embarrassment to this Chinese government if they allow Bo Xilai to come out. So, all right, that's all for tonight. And I thank you for joining. And I'll see you over the weekend. Okay, bye-bye.